The money was already gone before anyone realized something was wrong. People kept checking their emails, waiting for construction updates, and driving past the same empty land, still believing the homes would be built. Contracts had been signed, deposits had been paid, and trust had been given freely. Nothing looked suspicious. Nothing felt urgent. That was exactly why it worked. The project was called Ridgeway Commons. It was introduced as a quiet residential development in a growing American city, the kind of place meant for families who wanted stability rather than excitement. No luxury towers, no flashy promises, just single-family homes, parks, sidewalks, and nearby schools. The developers described it as a long-term community, not a quick investment. That message alone made people feel safe. The company behind it was Northline Property Group. They appeared professional in every sense. Their website was simple and clean, their office was well located and properly furnished, their representatives spoke calmly and never pushed anyone to make a fast decision. In fact, they encouraged people to take their time. That lack of pressure convinced many buyers that this was a legitimate and conservative opportunity. Ethan Walker first heard about Ridgeway Commons through someone at work. He wasn't the kind of person who chased risky investments. He had a steady job, a family, and a careful approach to money. When he looked into the project, he asked the same questions anyone responsible would ask. Was the land approved? Were permits in place? Who owned the property? Northline Property Group had answers for everything, supported by documents that looked official and detailed enough to satisfy scrutiny. When Ethan visited their office, nothing seemed out of place. The staff greeted him politely, they explained timelines clearly, they showed maps of the land and future plans for the neighborhood. They talked about infrastructure first, then housing, then community spaces. Everything sounded realistic. Nothing sounded rushed or exaggerated. The deposit amount wasn't extreme. It was just enough to feel serious without causing fear. Buyers were told that early participation allowed them to secure better pricing. Payments were processed properly, receipts were issued, contracts were signed, everything followed the normal rhythm of a real estate transaction. After that, communication continued. Emails arrived with updates about surveying, environmental reviews, and coordination with utility providers. These messages reassured buyers that progress was happening, even if it wasn't visible yet. Most people understood that real estate development takes time. Delays were expected. Patience felt reasonable. The land itself existed, which removed most doubt. People could drive by and see it. There were signs posted with the project name. It wasn't an imaginary place. That physical presence made people feel grounded. How could something be fake if you could stand on it? Months passed, then more months. Construction still hadn't begun. When buyers asked questions, the responses remained calm and polite. They were told about permit delays, scheduling issues, and external factors beyond the company's control. These explanations sounded familiar to anyone who had ever dealt with development projects before. Some buyers became restless, others defended the company. They reminded each other that real estate isn't instant and that delays don't always mean trouble. That shared patience worked in the company's favor. Over time, Northline Property Group introduced additional opportunities, new phases, referral incentives, investment options tied to future expansion. People who had already committed felt comfortable recommending the project to friends and family. Trust spread quietly, not through advertising, but through personal reassurance. The first real concern appeared when a buyer attempted to transfer their contract. The response from the company was slow. Emails became vague. Phone calls went unanswered for days. Eventually, that buyer visited the office in person. The sign was still there, the building was still standing, but the office was closed. At first, people assumed it was temporary, maybe a holiday, maybe a relocation. But days passed, and no explanation came. Communication slowed even further. Updates stopped entirely. Then someone checked public records. What they found was confusing at first, then alarming. The land ownership wasn't what it appeared to be. The company's control over the property was limited and conditional. Certain approvals had never been finalized. The structure of the project relied heavily on future payments rather than secured development funding. Slowly, the truth became unavoidable. The project wasn't designed to be completed. It was designed to last just long enough. Northline Property Group had created something that looked real, felt real, and operated just long enough to gather money from people who trusted the process. By the time doubts turned into certainty, the company had dissolved. The office was abandoned, phone numbers were disconnected, emails bounced back. Legal action followed, but there was little to recover. The company's structure protected those responsible. Assets were minimal, accountability was blurred. What remained were contracts that promised a future that was never going to exist. Ethan never saw a house built on that land. Neither did anyone else who invested. The land stayed empty. And the most unsettling part wasn't the money lost, but the realization that nothing had ever seemed wrong. The scam didn't rely on lies shouted loudly. It relied on quiet professionalism, patience, and the assumption that normal always means safe.